What is up, guys? Derek here. This is the Walking Dedenne official podcast. I'm here with Jacob at Peak Fandoms channel. Jacob, thanks for being here today, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Derek. Thanks for having me as always.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. We got a lot to talk about, man. The Walking Dead premiere to the final 8 episodes. I am
hmm
just blown away. A lot of crazy stuff, man, and it's really exciting. But before we get into all that, we have some awesome news. This is my first video, first podcast where we have a sponsorship. Jacob's going to tell you guys all about it, but I definitely recommend you guys go check out Q and get down on them. They're really helpful with their stuff, so definitely should go check that out. But Jacob, tell us some more about it and where we can find it.
All right, so like as Derek said, the app is called Q. That is Queue, and it's exclusive to iPhone users right now, but they are expanding and they're going to add it to Android soon. Um, they constantly update the app, but what the app is, it's where you can create a watch list for all your favorite TV shows and movies, and you can leave your reactions to whatever you watch and little short reviews, and you can follow people on there and just build a community of um, watching movies and TV shows. And who doesn't love that? If you guys download the app, they have a link to their Discord server. I'm pretty sure you have to have they call it an IQ. So that's like a scoring system where as much as you use it, you get points for it. I'm pretty sure you have to have an IQ of 300. Then they'll send you a link to the Discord server. And in that Discord server, you can actually directly talk to the creators of the app, and they constantly update the server with how they're going to update the app, and it's a really nice community. So I really recommend everyone that's watching, everyone that's listening, please download Q. And yeah, thank you, Q, for sponsoring us.
That's so exciting to hear that too. And I've
hmm
always said through all the seasons of The Walking Dead, like how important it is to give feedback on the shows you like. Like it is something that is so important. And you always see people so quick to complain or to praise shows, but don't do it in the right way. Don't give the right feedback in the right way. So, I always recommend taking these opportunities like what Q gives to, give your feedback on shows so you can share that with other people. So definitely a really cool sponsor for today, and I'm super excited about that. So that's great, and I appreciate Jacob, you sharing all that. So without further ado, we got to get into this. I don't know if you'd call it a two-part premiere or just two separate episodes. I've been calling it a two-part premiere, but this is the beginning of the end. And what's crazy to think about is we've seen 25% of the final 8 episodes right now. Like that just like it's so bittersweet to me. And I'm very impressed with these episodes. More so the second one than the first one. I think the second one did a lot more for me in terms of like as a viewer and as a longtime fan of the show. But I think the first one really appealed to people that may be casual viewers or people that are just watching this episode out of the blue and wanting to see some action scenes. And I think it really delivered in that regard where you didn't even have to know all that much about the story to enjoy watching the first episode. I really liked Daryl in the first episode. I thought he was great, but I'm really curious to hear what you thought about them. We haven't talked about it much, so I'm really excited to hear what you think about the episodes overall, and what are some moments that you like about them and from them.
Well, let me just say, I absolutely loved both episodes. And you mentioned you think you liked the second episode, episode 18, a little bit more. If you were to ask me which one I liked more, I actually don't know. I think they're pretty evenly, good. I thought they were great episodes. I think these are the best episodes of the season by far. I think this is what everyone's been wanting. This is the call, like you said, this is the beginning of the end. This is the culmination of the whole story. There's going to be action. There's going to be drama. There's a big death at the end of episode 18 that I'm assuming we're about to get into. I actually have a little bit of mixed emotions about that, so
Same,
I'm really
same,
excited to talk about that. But
same.
yeah, I love the episodes.
So one thing that for sure in the first episode that really caught me off guard is the story has done a really good job of accelerating, the Commonwealth story arc without it feeling rushed. I'm not watching it and thinking that it feels super rushed right now. I don't think that. I think they've done a really good job of accelerating the story. But what really draws me in is the fact that everyone's wondering what's coming next then, because if the Commonwealth stuff is already, after the big death, especially if the Commonwealth stuff is already hitting like its climax, we still got 6 episodes. And I think that if there's anything these episodes did, it painted the picture of what direction The Walking Dead is headed. And if you do not think we will see the CRM in The Walking Dead again, I don't, at this point, I don't know what to tell you, because Lance did all but say it. I mean, what he explained, the show writers know that we are going to assume that that was the CRM that he was talking about. And for me, 100%, like 100%. And I think that I won't be surprised if they decide to go that route with the rest of the story. But as for you, do you feel like maybe the Commonwealth story is being rushed a little bit or accelerated? And if so, what do you think they're going to do next when this all comes to a conclusion?
I don't think the Commonwealth story is being rushed. However, I do wish this season overall focused more on it. What I mean by that is the first 8 episodes, I think, could have been condensed to maybe 2 or 3 episodes about the Reapers. I did not care for them at all. I did not care about the Leah stuff. The thing I've enjoyed about most about the season is the Commonwealth and the fact that it's so different. All our characters are fishes, fish out of water. Um, I just love like seeing them in like a civilized environment, and I love the political like corruption stuff that we see with Pamela and Lance and Sebastian. I love that stuff, and I wish they focused more on that this season. So I think we're finally getting to that point. I just wish they kind of got to that point a little sooner. But no, I do not think it's rushed. I think at the pace they're going, it's good. And about the stuff you said about the CRM, we are definitely seeing them in some capacity in the 6 episodes. If not next episode, like the episode after that, honestly, because I think we honestly will see them in episode 19. Because if you pay attention to the like up next little preview, Lance is in this bunker and Pamela is too, and it looks very, it doesn't look like high tech or anything, but it looks like military esque. So I think that's a CRM bunker. And if you didn't know, episode 19 is titled Variant, which is obviously tied right to the CRM and all the France stuff. So I really do think there's a big chance we see them next episode.
I 100% agree. It is kind of up in the air as to how they're going to do it, and I think that's really important. How they decide to go the route that they, of merging the CRM back into this story, because they need to be really careful, because we've seen them in World Beyond now and Fear the Walking Dead, and in both those shows, currently it's a question mark, on both of them. So this can't be a question mark. We don't have the time to play with. Like this cannot be something that they leave open-ended. Like this needs to be wrapped up at least enough to propel the new spin-off shows and explain why they're happening. And to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, I think that's the route they're going here. I think that we are going to see the end of Lance and Pamela in some way or another by episode maybe 21, 22. And I think they're really going to focus on, okay, Maggie and Negan need to go to New York, Daryl needs to go to France, and Rick and Michonne got to come back. How are we going to set that up? That's what we're going to have to see in this finale. And I think that's what's prompting them to change this ending scene and go a different route. Norman Reedus, when he was interviewed about the Rick Grimes movies, when those were still going to be a thing, he said the scope of everything has changed. And I think what he meant by that is we're no longer looking for a comic book ending, right? We're no longer expecting that. I lost your webcam. It says
Yeah,
webcam utility.
yeah, I'm trying to fix that.
No, you're good. But I'll just carry on. But yeah, we're no longer expecting that comic book ending that a lot of us kind of wanted. Now at this point, it's how are we going to propel the rest of this universe to have these new spin-off shows and it not feel forced and it not feel like they're just doing it for more views or more money. That's what has me a little concerned at the moment.
Right. We could cut this part out. I'm trying to.
All right, technical difficulties, they are fixed. We are back. So, like I was saying a second ago, the comic book ending, I've counted it out, you know, and I don't know if you have too, but I've counted out the comic book ending. I think it's a little strange how these episodes begin with somebody reading. I don't know if you recognize the voice. I'm not good at that. I didn't recognize the voice. That
It's
was
Judith. It's
Is it
Judith.
Judith? Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I thought it could be, but I wasn't sure. So it looks like they're setting up that comic book ending, and we could still potentially see a time skip. I have been saying that for a long time that they could do the time skip, and somehow we find out they've all come back together, and these spinoffs will be how we got there. How do we get everybody back together? You know, and I think that that's something that's still in the realm of possibility, but I really believe that the focus on, you know, Sebastian and Pamela and Lance, all of that's going to have to be wrapped up sooner rather than later, because we're already so far away from what the comic books did. So, you know, and as we've been talking about it, this is your spoiler warning. I don't know why you'd be listening to this if you didn't, if you haven't watched it, but obviously the big character death we got was Sebastian Milton himself, which I don't know about you, man. My jaw dropped. I was not expecting that at all. Like, I did not see it coming at all. I literally would have thought that anybody else would have died there except for him. I was really shook. I don't know what their plan is now. Like, that's why when I made my first video talking about that double premiere, I was like, truthfully, I don't know what to say, because I no longer know what route they're going with The Walking Dead. I have no clue. With Sebastian being killed, my whole theory of what they were going to do is gone. Like, all of it's gone because he's killed. So why do you think they made that decision, and how do you think it's going to impact going forward what they're planning to do with the show?
Oh man, I feel like I have a lot to say specifically about this and not about this. About the Sebastian death, I do have mixed feelings on that, and let me explain that. So I am a huge the comic book fan, the Walking Dead comic book fan. Obviously, as you know, everything in the show itself is loosely based off of these graphic novels, and a lot of times they like to remix things in a way where other characters get other characters' deaths. It's the same death, but it happens to another character. So nothing like this happens in the books where one of the Miltons gets bit or anything. So like you, I was completely shocked. However, I did know going into the premiere that we would get a death at the end of episode 18. I did not know who it was, but how I knew was there was this woman, I forget her name, but she was a reporter who, you know, reports and reviews, I guess, shows. I'm not really sure. I don't really know the details. But she said that there's basically three main things she basically said about the episode. She says, one, that each episode at the end is going to open up with Judith narrating, and we saw that was true. And then, well, two and three kind of go together. So she said that there would be a boxing match with people that she knew. I don't really know what that means, but the death would happen right after the boxing match. So, and what she said about the death, it was that it would really deviate from the comics, and she was not wrong. What I
Not at
thought
all.
whenever I saw that, and she mentioned deviate from the comics, I was preparing for a death because I knew it, but I was like, something's gonna happen to Eugene, because they almost kind of seem like they set it up where he's standing in the box and he's the one that pressed the tape. I thought he was just gonna get shot or blown up or something by one of the soldiers, just like, no, you don't touch the Miltons, you don't mess with the Miltons. So that didn't happen, and obviously the Commonwealth people just stand around Sebastian as he dies, which was brutal. That's another thing that I just thought of. I felt like these two episodes were way more brutal than anything we've seen in many seasons, many years. They were brutal. Like when Daryl was shooting the soldiers, obviously everyone has blood on them when they get or blood squirts whenever they get shot, but it was just so much blood, and then also that Commonwealth soldier that just gets ripped in half. Oh,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
brutal.
That was
Yeah.
some of the, like, I agree. That was like slow motion, brutal. Then you got, you know, Daryl stabbing Lance's hand. And honestly, Sebastian's death at first, I was like, no way. And then, but the moment where he's dying is actually pretty damn dark and pretty graphic, like towards the
Yeah.
end. Like, it is. And I wasn't expecting it. It was pretty dark. And even just seeing gosh, what's her fake Stephanie? I always forget her. Shira, seeing her and that
Yeah.
other guy go kill all those innocent people with their pistols, just gun them down. You know, even stuff like that. I really think that AMC Plus has helped propel some of the graphic and the dark
The
stuff
F bombs.
and
The
missing
F
the F
bombs.
bombs, the language, all of that stuff that we weren't getting in The Walking Dead. I think that this is really AMC Plus has really helped excel that. So for that alone, the episode came across a lot more. Both of them came across more dark, more graphic, more scary. I think Tales of the Walking Dead did that really well, also. But yeah, I agree with you. The way of that guy getting ripped in half, I remember watching that, and it just reminds me of like Dale, you know, almost worse than Dale. It was
I would say it's worse than Dale. That is a top 3 moment for me of most brutal things in the show. Like there is not many things that come close to it. Maybe Noah's death, but man, like he gets ripped in half and both parts of him just get eaten. Like
yeah.
imagine that feeling, like as just getting ripped in half while you're getting eaten. That's another
Yeah,
level of dark.
they really did it. And I honestly like Mercer in that scene was great. You know, I think Mercer and Princess are two of the most well casted people that we've seen in recent Walking Dead years. I think. I mean, Sebastian Milton is good. Pamela Milton's good. I think other people could do their roles, but Mercer and Princess are both, you know, I think Mercer more so. I think he fits the comic Mercer visually and everything, like almost perfect.
Right.
Like it's crazy. And I really liked Mercer in both of these episodes. I like how we're kind of seeing this inner conflict with him. Does he want to go against the Miltons? Does he want to stay true to the Commonwealth? And I love it when Pamela's like, "You're supposed to protect me," and he's like, "Oh no, I'm protecting the Commonwealth." And seeing him at that point like actually verbalize that he is going to put the people first, I think that we're headed in a really good direction with that. And I think that when he snaps, this is my theory right now. When he snaps, when he finally says, "Screw these people," right? Which he hasn't quite gotten to yet. He has not gotten to the point where he's like, "You know what, I'm done with this whole thing." He hasn't got there yet. I think that he has a good idea of what's going on with the CRM, and that's why he got so mad when he found out Tyler Davis went missing and he punched that wall. I think he knows what Pamela's doing and Lance are doing, and I think that he doesn't agree with it. And I
Oh,
think
you think Tyler Davis is at the CRM?
I do. Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. Oh,
yeah,
you're
I think
right.
that
You're
whole
right. He's
list
at
of
the
people.
CRM.
I think that whole list of people that Connie had, minus the people that got killed in the Sebastian heist, I think that that's why Sebastian was able to get away with that heist, because Pamela and Lance aren't looking at people going missing because they already know people that are going missing because they're sending them off. So when
So wait,
Connie finds,
you think Pamela knows about the CRM? Because I feel like this is what I get. I feel like Lance knows, but almost no one else knows besides his people, maybe. I mean, maybe Mercer knows. I don't know, but I almost feel like Lance has a deal with this CRM and no one
so
else does because he doesn't say outright say the CRM to Pamela whenever he's talking about the alliances, and I feel like he would if she knew. Does that make any sense?
what he said though was stabilizing factors, right? Or something. I think that's what the words he used, stabilizing factors or something like that. Um, I would think that Pamela Milton does know, and I'm almost 100% sure Mercer for sure does. And if so, if they all know, I would think Pamela would too. But Mercer, like, think about it. When he went into that room asking for Tyler Davis, and they said he's not here, if he didn't already know what was going on, why would he have gotten so angry? Like he wouldn't have. He would have been like, "Oh, maybe he's in the hospital, maybe he's over here, maybe he ran away." But no, he was pissed because
Well, maybe he knows about the Sebastian heist, and that's what he assumed.
man, that could be the case too. You know, I think that if we would have gotten the confirmation that that's where he went, I don't know. I've thought about this a lot, and I just think when Mercer snaps, I think that's when he's going to give the info to Connie that, and I think he was the one that gave her those papers already. You know, I think that he gave her those papers, and I think that I think it's heading in that direction. I think Mercer's going to snap, and he's going to be the one to drop the bomb that the Commonwealth and the CRM are one, and they're working together. And they have to be careful about what they do, because one wrong move and the CRM's coming in. And I think those two people, Shira and the other guy, I think they are already part of the CRM. I do. I think they are part of it, and they are working so tightly with Lance because of it. And that's why Lance feels like he has the leverage to tell Pamela, that this isn't going to go your way because these stabilizing factors, because he knows those people are there, and if something happens to him, they can wreak havoc on Pamela, no questions asked. So I am leading. It's so interesting because you have like this triangle dynamic of Lance, Pamela, and our group, and each one has like a different, a different plot that they want to fill out, and it's just so interesting to me to see who's going to come out on top. I love it. I think it's really well written. Both of these episodes, extremely well written, really left the door open for the next one. And we haven't even talked about this yet, but we are most likely going to see this new variant of zombie in this next episode. Like probably 100%
No,
sure.
we're 100% because you can see in the promo one of the walkers turns a certain way, and you also see one turning the doorknob, and Jerry reacts to it. Like Jerry's like, "What the?" and then like shuts it immediately. So we're
I know.
100% seeing it, and also
God,
the title's variant. So
that's so exciting to me, man. All of that, like, see, that's what I mean, though. It's like, how are they already going the variant route if we still have Commonwealth stuff? I don't know. I feel like maybe some of them are going to get away. I'm just so lost now on what route they're going to go that I could come up
right,
with theories all day long of what
right.
route they're going to go. But
Well,
I love that. I love that for
well,
the show.
one theory I want to say specifically that I think actually has some traction to it about the variants is, what if the CRM has these variants like transported from Europe or wherever the variants are, and they're sending them to the Commonwealth because Lance isn't fulfilling their needs or whatever,
Dang,
and they
I
just want
didn't
to
think
wipe
about
them
that.
out.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
think about that. That's crazy. I didn't think about that at all. Because they have to get there somehow.
yeah.
They have to get there somehow. So yeah, man, that's a real possibility. I mean, God, I wish that episode is out already. I want to watch it so bad. I mean, it just feels like forever away, but I can't wait to watch
You
it.
got you got 6 more days.
I know, man. We got to tough it out, man. I stayed up like all night watching it when it came out too
Mhm.
on AMC Plus. So, no, like I don't, I overall. So I don't know if you got a score ready for the first two episodes, but I do. So 1 through 100, I got my scores ready. And I know we have much different scoring systems. Okay, I know we do. So put that out there now. Episode one for me, I have it at 88 out of 100. And then episode two, I have it at 92 out of 100. I think, and just to give you some reference on that, I have episode two, the second episode of this part, which is what, episode 18? 18? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Episode 18, I have it right in line with some episodes in season, like the season 5, like the finale to season 5, Conquer, same score, which is pretty crazy to think about there. Also, Killer Within, I have it the same as there as well, which is crazy. I know. But seriously, like I just I really loved this episode, and I'm a big cinematography guy, and I just think they killed it in both of them. The first and second, I think it's some of the most visually pleasing Walking Dead content we've ever gotten. So I got an 88, 92. What do you got for them?
All right. So episode 17, Lockdown, the first episode of the premiere. I'm gonna give it a 72 out of
Oh my
100.
God. Oh my Lord. You got problems, man. Give me an example of what you think that episode's on par with. Like, what else do you
Um,
want to do?
that's a good question. Probably like I don't really know how to put this in words, but I don't put it anywhere near like anything in the first 7 seasons of the show. It's obviously better than some of those episodes, but just in general, I don't think it's that tier. But in terms of like post time skip, post Rick, I think this was like top one. Both of them were like top 5 episodes. This has been my favorite episode in years.
That's
Episodes, I should say.
and you rated it that damn low.
For me, that's okay. You have to think like that's like a 7 out of 10. Like that is above average. I do
Oh,
not think
okay. No,
I
that's
do not
fair.
think it's that low.
It's fair. It's fair.
But I think you're gonna have a reaction to the next episode
Okay.
rating. I'm gonna give it an even 70 out of 100. I think I just like the first episode just a little bit more. I just think it was. I'm not that this episode 18 was bad at all by any means. It's just I don't know. I felt like the action and the gore, especially in the first episode with um the soldier. But episode 18 also had that highlight of that opening of Daryl's F bomb and then just stabbing Lance's hand. That's the thing that shocked me the most. I think that shocked me more than Sebastian's death. I don't maybe because I was expecting a death, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a 70 out of 100. It was really good. Like I said, these two are my favorite of season 11. Some of my favorite episodes in years. But yeah, those are my ratings. There's one more thing before we get off of here. I just want to make sure. I kind of want to talk about my predictions for the ending because I want to talk about them now, and as week by week, I want to see those predictions change. So if you
Love
want
to
to
hear
talk
it.
about how we think it's going to end, I think that'd be really exciting.
Go for it. We got 10 minutes, so go for it.
All right. So this is my prediction for episode 24, which we now know is titled Rest in Peace. And if you didn't know, Rest in Peace is actually the title of the last volume of the comics. And I've been saying for months, I haven't like publicly said this anywhere, but I thought the final episode ever of the whole series was going to be called one of three things. One of them was Rest in Peace. So I was right, but I had three options. My other two options were The Farmhouse, which is the final issue ever of the comics, and then Years Gone By,
I
which
thought
would
they
have
were
been
gonna do years gone by. I really did.
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
that's what they did.
because that's obviously the exact opposite of Days Gone By, which is the pilot episode.
Mhm.
But Rest in Peace is big because I feel like it basically confirms that someone is getting Rick Grimes' death in the from the comic book. Which, if you didn't know, this is going to sound like a huge shock to some people if you do not know. But Sebastian Milton shoots Rick Grimes in his sleep, and that is how he dies.
Damn near the
Uh,
end of the comics too. Let me throw that.
right,
But
right. So whenever Sebastian was killed, I was like, well, that can't exactly happen because call me crazy, but I actually thought that Rick was going to come back in like the end of episode 23 because it's titled Family. What I think is really cool is the last three episodes are titled Faith, Family, and Rest in Peace, and those are all three major themes of The Walking Dead.
mhm.
Um, which Rest in Peace obviously translating to death. But I thought Rick was going to come back at the end of Family with Michonne, and there was going to be an exact parallel of Judith and RJ running to them like Carl did, and the third episode of the whole series, which is titled Tell It to the Frogs. That's Rick's reunion with Carl and Lori. I thought that was going to be an exact parallel, and then the next episode there would be like a couple year time skip, like 2 to 5 year time skip. Judith's a little bit older. RJ's probably a bit around Judith's age now, and Sebastian was going to get jealous that Rick just comes in and he's one of the leaders of the Commonwealth now because of his leading experience and everyone respects him, obviously. And he was going to shoot him. And Judith would have to kill Rick as a walker. And it would pretty much be almost a 1-to-1 translation from the comic book to the show. Obviously, that is not going to be able to happen now. It's not going to be 1-to-1. So I'm kind of thinking. So let me just say this. I do think Rick and Michonne. I'm saying this positive vibes here. They need to come back in the main show and reunite with the people. But how I think they could do that is episode 23 ends the war with whoever ends the war with the Commonwealth or the CRM. We don't really know what the way it's going to go. It's kind of leaning towards CRM right now, but whatever. So they help win the war, they finish the battle, they get seen, they have their happy reunion, and then, like I said, there'd be a time skip for the final episode, and then Rick would die, and then there'd be another time skip of like a huge one, like 20 to 25 years, and then we find out that they build a statue of like maybe like Rick, Daryl, Michonne, of all the people that got us here. because in the comics it's just Rick, but I feel like it would be more fitting for the show to have like a group statue like that.
I think
So
honestly, I'm very close to you, by the way. Like it's crazy how close you are to what I think, but it's crazy. Like I never thought of the statues. That's a really smart idea, but no, that's what I think too. I think that we will still get the time jump, and I think it's going to jump so far ahead where we can still do all these spin-offs, right? And maybe we
right.
won't get that full reunion. Maybe there's something drastically different. You know, maybe there's a grave of somebody and it says the year on the grave and it's more recent. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of things they could do with it, but now knowing that they're changing that final scene, like I'm all but convinced that Andrew Lincoln, Denai Guerrera, or both will be appearing. They will, in some way or another, they will appear. And
Yeah, but
and I'm excited for it.
yeah, there's one thing I want to add to my prediction. So we already know from the first two episodes, from what it seems like, Judith is going to start narrating the episodes, and like it seems like there's a theme almost with each episode. With episode 17, it seems like the theme was the good versus the bad. She talks about her family, how they all support each other and lean on each other for support. Then it shows Shane, the governor, Negan, Alpha and Beta, and the Commonwealth people, and they talk about the good and the bad. So that was the theme of that episode. Then the theme of episode 18 was it was Daryl. It really focused on Daryl, but it also focused on the people they lost, because it showed Herschel, Carl, all the people that died pretty much. So it was pretty much like death and Daryl. So I think what they're going to do, I don't think that's foreshadowing Daryl's death, which was interesting they did it. But I think each episode is going to start with a character and then like a mini theme, and then that's all going to lead up to the final episode. And if he comes back, the final episode's theme is going to be the story of Rick Grimes and whatever theme they want to do. And then it's going to define one of the final shots of the show is going to be Judith reading the story of The Walking Dead, written by Dr. Eugene Porter, to her child. That is
Damn,
how it's going to end.
mic drop, man. Damn. Yeah, I never thought about Eugene Porter, Doc. Oh my God, that would be a masterpiece, man. Because he's writing the novel and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, oh my God, you just blew my damn mind, man. I am thinking pretty similar to you though, truthfully. And I've been saying that for a while. You can scroll down my TikTok and check it out. But I've been saying that for a while, man. And I love the predictions. And I always love talking with you too, because you always, bring some cool ideas to the table. So I do. We got 3 minutes left here. So like I said, I'll Jacob, I do want you to, share with these guys where they can find you, where they can follow you, and where they can download Q one more time, and then we will get off here shortly.
All right. So, like I said at the beginning of the video or podcast, however you're viewing this, um, Q is an app for iPhone users where you can rate and review movies, and share little reviews. I've been using it for a couple months now. I absolutely love it. Make sure you go follow me on there at Peak Fandoms. I'm Peak Fandoms on everything. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Haven't really posted anything on YouTube, but once I build up my following on TikTok, I will like longer video formats. Instagram, I'll just be posting like little short things, what I think about certain things going on in media. Sharing to my stories. There'll be a more like one-on-one interaction on Instagram, but TikTok's obviously the main focus right now. I post a lot of reactions and thoughts and many reviews on Walking Dead especially, but multiple things like the MCU, Star Wars, the Breaking Bad universe. So yeah, those are all things you can find me on Twitch. I play some games, come in there, have some fun. I play a lot of story games. We can talk about whatever shows or movies you want, anything you want. So yeah, that's where all you can find me.
And you'll see more of us soon for sure. I'm definitely wanting to cover some more episodes with you. So you will see me and Jacob back on here very soon. My name's Derek. I'm at The Walking Dead, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You guys know where to find me. My podcast, you can find it on anywhere you like to listen to your podcast. Same title, The Walking Dead, all one word. Jacob, I do want to thank you so much for joining me today and doing this. I always love talking with you, man. You're a great guy, and definitely go give him a follow if you guys don't already. Big shout out to the guys at Q for sponsoring this video. Definitely go check that out as well. And for all my Walking Dead fans out there, I will see you guys next time, and peace out.
See you guys.